Bloody Monday is something that is very disturbing to me because my wife was beaten. I mean, you just imagine your wife to have left the church in a beautiful print dress and looking good and come back and the dress is almost beaten off of her and blood coming from her back. That's not something that you can easily forget, and I have not forgotten it today. When I think about that, then I think about the sacrifice that some others made. Like there were many persons that had concussions. But the sad thing about it, Danville would not admit that they did that. It took them years before Danville would say that June 10th actually occurred in the city of Danville because they suppressed the news and that the Associated Press could not get the coverage out. They did everything that they could to try to prevent the world from knowing how brutal Danville was to black folk. Martin Luther King said in all of his travels he had not seen the kind of brutality that he saw here in Danville, Virginia. I remember everything about that day. I had been arrested that day for violating an injunction law that the city had put out. There were any number of us who had been incarcerated. And so there were people who met at our church up the street, and they said, let's go down to pray for the people who are in prison, and those who were incarcerated. And so there were 50 of them that got together. My wife was one of those 50. When they got down to the jail, there's a corridor. There's a municipal building and there's a jail. And in this kind of a corridor, the National Guard, the deputized white garbage collector, and police officers, that's what my wife remembers. She heard them say, let them have it. They used the hoses to hose them down and dogs. And that's when my wife was beaten and her dress was beaten off of her almost. And she still suffers from that today. So that's what I remember about that infamous day of June 10th.